6 property scams you need to watch out for before you pay for a property in Lagos. Let me tell you something today. Buying a property in Lagos can be one of the best financial decisions you will ever make, but it can also be one of the most painful financial mistakes you will ever make if you don't know what you are checking. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I've seen people who work for many years save their money, borrow money from family and friends. Some even take loans, some even sell off their assets. All of this just to finally afford a piece of land. And then they discover that the problem was not actually that they couldn't afford the property. The problem was that they didn't even know what they had bought. Today, I'm going to show you 6 ways people get into troubles buying land in Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm going to tell you the stories in a very simple way. We'll look at what happened and how the buyers got there, what the warning signs were, and most importantly, what they could have checked before they made any financial commitment. So, if you are planning to buy any piece of land in Lagos, say in Ikorodu, Ibejuleki, Epe, Alimosho, or anywhere in Lagos, watch this video before you pay. And if you have someone in your family who is currently looking for land in Lagos, send this video to them. It might save them millions of naira. Number 1, the off-plan project that was never built. So let me paint a picture for you. You see an advert online, a beautiful estate, gated community, street lights, good roads, a recreation center, maybe a school, a swimming pool, looking all beautiful. You go for an inspection and someone tells you, don't worry, this is going to be one of the biggest estates in this area. It will be ready and delivered to you in 6 to 12 months. And then they tell you the price. Oh, the house is being sold for 55 million naira today. And at the time of handover, it will be sold for over 100 million naira. So now is the best time to buy. You are thinking, if I don't buy this now, I'll regret. So you pay. Initially, everything looks fine. You receive your receipt, your agreement, your deed of assignment, and maybe you even get an allocation, a paper allocation letter. You go home excited and tell your loved one, I finally bought a house. Then 6 months pass. You go back there and you find nothing, absolutely nothing has happened. They tell you, don't worry, construction is starting very soon. Government approval is delaying us. Another year passes by and they tell you contractors are coming. And suddenly you realize something, that the estate you bought into, the house you bought into only existed in the brochure, but not on ground. Now, to be really fair, not every delayed off-plan project is a scam. Real estate development can genuinely face delays. But this is where you really need to ask important questions. What have you built before as a company? Not what are you planning to build now? Ask the developer. Show me something that you have done in the past. Ask them for reviews, for testimonials from previously satisfied clients. A completed estate tells you what they have actually built in the past. So do the following checks. Before buying into any off-plan project, investigate into the developer's delivery history. Don't let the beauty of tomorrow make you ignore the reality of today. 2, the land that was never allocated. Now, this one is interesting because the buyers actually believe that they have bought land. They've made payments. They have their receipts, they have their contract of sales, they have their deed of assignment. So, what is the problem? The problem is that nobody has actually allocated that particular plot to them. Imagine buying a house in an estate and nobody actually shows you your house within that estate. That is essentially what happens here. You're shown a large expanse of land and told your plot is somewhere around here. So you went for site inspection and you are told, this is the land. This is the estate. Now you are excited. You have bought property in Lagos. Then when you ask for allocation, suddenly the answer becomes complicated. Don't worry, the allocation is coming. The surveyor is still working. The estate layout is still being worked on. And sometimes many months and even years may pass by and you have not still been allocated your land. And what is the warning sign? The company did not actually show you any proof that they own that property. that they have just sold to you. So before you make any financial commitment, do your due diligence. Ask the company for documents that prove that they truly own that land they're selling to you. The hidden charges ambush. You see this one? It doesn't always look like a scam, and that's why I want you to pay attention. You see an advert online, a plot of land going for 10 million naira. You say, okay, I can afford 10 million naira, and then you go ahead, you contact the agent, you book an inspection, you like the property, and then you negotiate, and you go ahead and agree. While you are still excited about your purchase, someone sends a message to you saying you need to pay for documentation before we go ahead with your application. So you hear survey fee, you say okay, and then you hear you need to pay for documentation, you say fine. Then comes developmental levy. At this point you are wondering, I thought the land was 10 million naira. And this is where many people get trapped, because they have already become emotionally committed to that property. They've inspected it and they've told their loved ones about it, and they've even made the purchase. So when another 500,000 naira comes, another 700,000, another 5 million, they start saying, this is too much. But I've already come this far, and that is the ambush. Not necessarily because all other charges or all of these charges are illegitimate. Some of these fees are actually legitimate, but the problem is when you don't know about them before you made your first commitment. So before you make a deposit, ask one question: what is the total amount I'm going to spend before I completely own this property? And this should appear in your contract of sales. Listen, when a property is priced way below the average market value of properties in that location, it could be a pointer that the documentation fee and developmental fee have not been added, because the price you see on the billboard or the flyer may not be the amount that eventually leaves your account, the land that the government owns. This is one of the reasons I tell people, don't fall in love with a cheap land. Don't fall in love with a cheap price. Let's say you are looking for a land in a developing part of Lagos. You see two properties side by side. One is selling for 15 million and the other is selling for 22 million. And then you make up your mind to go for the one of 15 million, saying to yourself, I have found a good deal, without asking, why is this cheaper? They may give you a reason and say, oh, this is a distress sale. You really have to investigate, because land in Lagos can have different acquisition and ownership history, and government acquisition is a serious issue that must be independently checked. So imagine buying the land, you have your agreement, you have all your documents, you build, and one day you discover that the government wants to take over the land, and now you're asking, but I have documents. That is not always enough. The real question should be, what is the state's original plan for that piece of land? So before you pay, verify the land status independently. Get the relevant survey and title information checked. Use qualified legal and survey professionals. Do not rely solely on what the company tells you. And here is the lie that I want you to remember. And if the price is unbelievably cheap, don't start calculating how much you can save. Ask why the land is that cheap. Because sometimes cheap land is an opportunity, and at other times is a warning sign. Watching this and you're planning to buy land in Lagos, Nigeria, I want you to do something for me. Don't send any money yet. Let's investigate and identify what needs to be checked before your money moves. Because my goal is not simply to sell properties to you. My goal is to help you buy properties that you can own with peace of mind. And if you know someone who is currently looking for land to buy in Lagos, send this video to them, because one share could save someone years of regrets. I am Blessing Ilegar of FD Realtors, and I help you invest safely and profitably in real estate. See you on the next one. Bye. Ciao, ciao.